Hey everybody, welcome to episode 147 of the Bonehead podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle, welcome back. I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Type Ben. BT, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good news today.
Oh, very good news. And we're also joined by TO extraordinaire and connoisseur of ones, Ian Triple Pow Triplo. Trips, how you doing?
Very excited for everything that is new.
We actually have Blood Bowl news. So today, Ben, other than the potential of the American Civil War, what should we be talking about on episode 147?
Yeah, we thought we were going to bring that one in, but no, we're talking about the new team that's just been revealed, or the old team that's had a rework, the Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, they look great.
Okay, let's dive straight into it. Okay, before we dive in, we have to say we haven't got Milton with us today, although we did attempt to steal him and break him out of Azkaban. When he found out some of the news of the most recent team, he was like, "Nah, mate, not doing it," because that's just Milton, isn't it?
Yeah, he saw like they've lost particular skills, and he was just like, it's a bad team now. I'm not interested. Go Blood Bowl. So
yeah, it's not tier 1 anymore. Not interested.
Yeah, don't like change.
Oh yeah. Anyway, that's not true. Milton's actually just stuck working at the moment. But we had the Nova Open preview this morning at 2 a.m, although it started early, which was interesting because I logged on, jumped on at 2 a.m, and they were already playing the Chaos Dwarf trailer bit. I was like, am I an hour late? Like, last time, no, not last time, there was an OPR stream that was 7 p.m. GMT. And I was like,
reasonable time.
Yes, but we were in BST, so I got really excited for 7 o'clock, and I sat there and I was like, oh, this is wrong. So when I logged on this morning,
why do we have this?
I know. Well, farmers find it useful, don't they? And farmers are quite useful for eating things, not farmers, but the things they grow. But yeah, we had the Nova Open preview. I mean, first things first, guys. Did you watch any of the stuff? I assume not at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
No.
What?
I forgot they do those. I've just seen the pictures that everyone's been sharing.
Yes, there was pictures, there was a trailer, and there was an interview with Jay and Dan, the designers. So Jay is the lead designer for Blood Bowl, and Dan, this is his I think his first solo spike. This is Dan's spike, which is very cool. So it was cool to see him talk through that. I wanted on your thoughts on the entire preview, but if you didn't watch it, then it doesn't matter.
You should have told us. I didn't realize it was homework. I thought we were just going to be talking about the dwarves.
No, we can talk about the dwarves.
I watched someone else talking about it. That was my breakfast viewing.
No, it was just yesterday, Ben. You seemed really excited by the 40k roadmap. So I thought, Ben's going to be logging on and checking this out. There was some interesting Age of Sigmar stuff. There was some Sigmarines on birds.
I mean, this is Age of Sigmar. This is why I love Age of Sigmar, because you get to see really cool models. And you're like, cool, next.
Honestly,
that's how it feels for me.
It is a little bit like that. So there was some Age of Sigmar
really
bits.
Awesome.
There was a roadmap for a couple of things. There was Horus Heresy, Legions Imperialis, a couple of models from the War of the Rohirrim stuff. There was 40k, did some army bits. Old World did some army bits. So for those of you who are tangentially interested in the Old World, they got Chaos coming out soon. Dwarves I don't think are actually out yet. Then it's going to be Chaos. They've announced that. Then it's going to be Empire. Then it's going to be High Elves next year. So as a big High Elves fan, I was like, ooh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. But we're not here to talk about those other rubbish games. Your mileage may vary. We're here to talk about this game, Blood Bowl, the best game. And we've got a team back. So, guys, coming into this, there you go. There's a little interview with Dan and Jay. It was very cool. Coming into this, what were you expecting from the announcement? What were you expecting from the preview for Blood Bowl?
You go Trips.
I was definitely thinking a team of legend, because we had a new team last time. It sort of revealed it was a new team in the tease. So definitely thinking one of the team of legends. And I think I was 50-50 split with it, Chorfs or High Elves. It was feeling like it was going to be one of those two, because everybody wants Tomb King, so everybody will have to wait for Tomb Kings.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Tomb Kings because they'd be too popular. I think Dwarf's probably the most popular of the remaining team of legends.
Yeah, I think so. High Elves are getting a bit of resurgence now, though, because
they're winning hard at tournaments.
Yeah, exactly.
So put a little poll up yesterday. We had nearly 1,000 votes. Brand new team was 34%, 56% team of legend, and not a team, something else, 11%. So it was teams of legend, and I mean, very much. I think like you guys probably feel. I mean, Ben going from a brand new team to Blood Bowl, then bouncing into teams of legend, like that seems like a pretty good way to do things, right?
I think so. Yeah, like the new old. It's very balanced, and it has been that sort of pattern, hasn't it?
So
we're still praying for Slanesh as Slan, because that's kind of the
a couple of people did
little,
comment.
like,
They were like, "Oh, I
yeah.
thought it was going to be Slan Slev, or Kiz
Yeah,
Slan." And I
that
was
would've
like,
been cool.
"Oh." Yeah, I mean, there's still a few teams we're
Oh.
waiting for, right? We've got Slanesh, Zinch, Squigs.
Yeah.
They all feel like an absolute automatic addition to the game. And Trips, how many teams of legend have we got left now? We've
still got High Elves, Tomb Kings, and I think
that's it, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, so if we
Yeah.
go Chaos Dwarves into Squigs, into High Elves, into Slanesh, into Tomb Kings, into Zinch, and then blow it all up, new edition.
Yeah.
That would be
Or
cool.
redo.
Yeah, or remembering what we had last time, which was new team and then new edition like 6 weeks later before you even get to play the Underworld.
That's right.
Was that the case?
It was.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
They dropped Snotlings, then they did OWA and Underworld, and then Trips is right. It was straight in with the new edition. Right. One moment. Let me see if I can. Oh dear. I couldn't mute it in time, so sorry for those of you who were driving, because GG's. There we go. We got the cool little trailer with the Chaos Dwarves. So yeah, well, the trailer's going on in the background for those of you on YouTube. Let's just talk through what was kind of shown off. We've got the Chaos Dwarf team that was shown off, which is a box of 14 models, 4 Chaos Dwarf blockers, 6 Hobgoblin linemen, and then 2 Chaos Dwarf Firesmiths who breathe fire, and 2 Hobgoblin stab men, stab chaps, snip snappers, stabber lads. I can't remember what they're called.
Sneaky stabbers.
Sneaky stabbers, that's it. Well, sneaky.
Yeah.
That's the contents of the box, and they have said that Bull Centaurs are coming out, but they will be a Forge World buy 2 in a box kind of jobby, which is fine. I think I mean, that is what I fully expected coming into this. I couldn't see it going a different.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought they were going to do plastic balls, man.
I think it would take up too much space on the sprue.
Yeah, but dwarves are small. Hobgoblins are pretty slight. I think you could have done a 14 sprue.
I was worried.
I don't know if they could have.
Yeah, I was worried we'd get them in the box and you'd lose 2 minis as part of it, so you'd end up with a 12 box team, which is almost automatic. Whatever happens with Dwarf, you almost get into the point where you're in a box and a half or box and extras to make the team out.
Actually, that is a very good shout, Trips, because yeah, whether you've got to buy a pair of Bull Centaurs or a second box because you can't get enough linemen in the box the first way round, it's actually cheaper to get 2 Bull Centaurs from Forge World than it is to buy a second box of team. Now,
yeah, and it's definitely Forge World, right? They're not plastic expansion.
No, they are Forge World.
No,
I don't know if they said it was going to be Forge World resin. Definitely Forge World.
It says cast in Forge World.
It does say cast in Forge World resin. That's okay. I mean, that's fine. I fully expected that because I thought the only big guys, or the only bigger guys they've put on a sprue. Right, we've got the Amazon Strength 4 pieces that are exactly the same size as the Strength 3 pieces, which doesn't count. And then you've got the mummies, who are pretty small. Otherwise, I don't think we've got, like, the Ulfwereners are pretty small. I think they're bull centaurs. They just need to be properly girthy, and they are thusly, I would say.
Yeah, they do look it. Are they on 40mm bases as well?
Yeah, they're chonkers.
Yeah, they are big.
Yeah. I mean, the old ones had like the 50 by 25 cavalry base. So
Oh, did they?
yeah, because Craig's got one, got the old third edition team. It's just like
That's so good.
this is stupid. Anyway, right, we've seen the team. We'll talk through the models now because we've seen the team. So you get 4 blockers, 2 fireboys, 2 stab lads, and 6 of the linemen. What are your thoughts on the model strips?
This is how you present a new team on a web shot. It looks great. The painting's great. Gotta love big hats and just that whole theme. It just is good. It's well done, and the basing is beautiful as well. Which it's you sort of forget when you look at them at first, but it really does add to the model. So yeah, I think big.
I agree. I love the basing that they're doing. I know I've mentioned this to you before, Ben, and you're like, just make the little block things, but it looks like 1mm static grass that they've used to make tufts. And it just works really well. It looks really good. But I'm also in Trips Park. I love the look of this team. But Ben, you've got like at least 1 or 2 Chaos Dwarf teams already, including the Punga one, which is the top tier team out there at the moment, I would say.
So. Yeah, I'm very biased. I really like it, and I'm really happy to see this because they actually have a model that has like a big flaming head, which is like a perfect flamesmith. And the hobgoblins, there's 2 of them that are like less armored and more roby, and so I'm going to paint those black to be the stabbers. But Punga did actually send me a message. I put a little story up being just like, oh, really glad I can use the Punga team on my Instagram, and they did send a message saying they're going to be releasing a little expansion booster for their team. So if you've got their team and you don't want to remodel them, then they have said they're going to be doing it. So
this is the bit
about 4 days.
well, if they're going to do them in resin, it'll take them a bit longer. But this is the bit that we normally get quite excited by, isn't it? The third-party rush. But Chorfs are done, right? Grebo and Punga have both done a solid Kickstarter in the past, so they'll maybe doing some add-ons. STL World, Realm of Paths, crush it with theirs, so maybe we'll see Realm of Paths, who are taking September off from a new release. Might just chuck out a couple of additions to their next team or the expansion pack to just give you the extra positionals. But I don't think we're going to see a gold rush for this. I think the Games Workshop team, I think it's very well done. I think the theme they've gone with for the dwarves looks very similar to the Punga one, but I said it on my video in the morning, like, I think that's just that Punga nailed what Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, Punga looks like GW Chaos.
Yeah. Well, Punga look like modern Chaos Dwarves.
They do, yeah.
And now these are actually modern Chaos Dwarves, so therefore they look very, very, very similar. So get that. But the hobgoblins, because this is something that I think has been quite ropey with third-party Chaos Dwarfs. It's very easy to do a Chaos Dwarf. Like, it's very hard to do a Chaos Dwarf wrong. Hobgoblins, we've seen in third-party teams, like, they can be really goober looking and just fail.
Yeah, and touch and go on the stereotypes as well sometimes, which can be a bit questionable.
The Punga ones are like Mongolian hat kind of.
They bridge a line, I think.
Whereas these guys look like what are the new swamp goblins for
the Hobgrot.
But the vibe to them, I think, it reminds me of the new Age of Sigmar goblin orc. Or
yeah, what are they called? Hobgrots is like a unit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the
Yeah.
Anyway, the IP goblins. I like the style. I like the cartoony thing they've got. I just think they've done a really good job with the hobgoblins. And one thing they talked about in the stream is that they're detailing the hobgoblin team in the roster in the book. It won't be
that's so fun.
An alternate roster. But they did give a shout out, like, to those of you who've been following Blood Bowl since like the 2nd edition. The Hobgoblin team is like the infamously worst team in Blood Bowl, and it's just full of hobgoblins. And this genuinely makes me quite excited to grab 2 boxes and run the Hobgoblin team. That's just
especially now there's a new positional for it. Like that's cool. And is there a star? Is there a Hobgoblin star?
We don't know
in the old
about this. Oh yeah. There was an assassin. I can't remember what the assassin was called, but there was an assassin there. But we'll talk about stars now. So the box, you got the 6. You've got 4 blockers, 6 dudes, 6 hobgoblins, 2 fire breathers, 2 stabbers. We'll talk about the rules and things for those guys in a second. Then you've got the 2 bull centaurs that are coming out from Forge World. We've got the breathe fire trait, which we'll talk through, and the Spike magazine, Spike 18. Villainous VIPs, legendary Chaos Dwarf star players, shoot, slash, and stomp their way into the spotlight. Trips. I saw a hashtag Trust Ian post in the Wobble chat where somebody was like, they are obviously these star players.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Do I remember? No, but I can scroll up with the best of them. So I think it was Rashnak, Hitharg, and Zazarg. So
Sounds like a Chaos Dwarf name, so I've heard him.
Yeah, it's been such a long... Yeah, Rashnak Backstabber was a Hobgoblin star player. Yeah, because you've got Rashnak Backstabber and Grashnak Blackhoof, which is always...
I see.
always quite fun. Do you say Hathark?
yes.
So Thark, I think, was the Chaos Dwarf star, the Bull Centaur star player. Ian Turner from the Blood Bowl community put Chaos Dwarf stars: Shoot Zarg, that's right, who Zarg Mad Eye was a bombardier of Chaos Dwarf style. Rashnak the Stabber, yeah, and Stomp Hathark. Yeah. Hathark is the classic star player. Thark, Blood Bowl. Oh, I love the Thark. He was wicked.
It's like a strength 5 bull centaur, isn't it?
Yeah, Hathark the Unstoppable. It's interesting. We've come so far away from 2016 Blood Bowl now that the old CRP stars have kind of faded in my own memory now. I'm like, I don't really remember. I mean, let's face it, Chaos Dwarves, you're never really TV low enough to run Hathark very often anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But that kind of gives a good sneak as to potentially the star players in there. And Dan did say on the stream there are 3 star players in there, which is...
I mean, it says there that it shoot, slash, and stomp, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I love the sleuthing. I love the sleuthing already. Okay, so let's talk team composition and things that we know already. So, Hobgoblins, from the sounds of it, have stayed very much the same with the exception of the Sneaky Stabber. So it looks like in the box you get the opportunity to make 2 of them. So we're going to assume, guys, 0 to 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Would make sense. And that would line up with the assassin, who's the other stab player.
Yeah. 4 stabbers seems quite oppressive.
Hobgoblins remain the same, though Sneaky Stabbers use shadowing and stab to stay uncomfortably close to high value opposition players, perhaps to jab them between the ribs with a glance at the end zone. So Hobgoblins movement 6, shadowing on a movement 6 piece.
Do you reckon they could be 7?
Ooh, that would be wicked.
I think that'd be good for Chaos Dwarves. Like, yeah, that's good ball carrier.
Yeah, low movement and shadowing just doesn't really work. It's just a skill that's only going to work on a 6.
Trumpets, who randomly rolled that. Bull Centaurs remain lightning quick and will most definitely still function as sackers or scorers, depending on how you decide to spec them. And a Minotaur is still very much a Minotaur. So there is still a Minotaur on the roster, and it sounds like Bull Centaurs may not change very much. Although, Chaos Dwarf blockers no longer start with tackle. This is replaced by Iron Hard Skin. And they said on the stream that all Chaos Dwarf players get Iron Hard Skin, and that Iron Hard Skin is getting upgraded. So Iron Hard Skill is a mutation skill that nobody uses, and it prevents adjustment to the armor value. So Claws, Mighty Blow, that's it. Basically, if you're a Chaos Dwarf, your armor is going to be 10 plus forever, and dwarves, generally speaking, have thick skull, right, Ben? So
yeah,
that's potent.
I did see some discussion. Does this work on fouling?
I don't know. That's exactly what I said as well.
Yeah.
So I was like,
because I think hang on, current Iron Hard Skin wording, does that?
I think Dirty Player gives you +1 to your roll. It doesn't affect the armor value because Dirty Player is fouling. So basically, Dirty Player is like +1 foul as opposed to reduce the armor potentially. That's an FAQ in.
So because also there's current Iron Hard Skin can be used when you're prone as well. So I mean, I don't think that ever comes up, but
Yeah.
like if it did, like, I guess we somehow had I think we were saying in our
Bomb?
team chat,
Oh no,
if we
bombs
somehow had
don't
a claw
multiply.
ball and chain, it would like if you were able
Fireball.
to finagle
Fireball
that
gets
somehow.
mighty blow. Oh no,
Yeah,
claw is
yeah,
the
but
only
what?
skill.
But if it
Yeah.
does prevent against fouling, then
Yeah.
it would the skill would still work, and it'd
Yeah.
be really strong there.
Interesting one.
And I also saw the how's that going to work in Gutter Bowl? I like that people went straight down the variant.
Ooh, yes. Yes, the Chaos Dwarves are immune to the ground. Guys, just need to take a very quick break. And we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, so, yeah, the armor 10 plus. I mean, it will come up, right? It will come up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it as good as tackle?
No, God no. As a corn player, I'm just like, oh no, it's actually relevant now.
Yeah. For you it is, yeah. But I think for most other teams, the lack of tackle there on a Chaos Dwarf blocker is going to make them less harsh to play against, Trips.
That was as soon as for me, as someone who's never played Chaos Dwarfs but has played against them a lot, it suddenly makes them a fun team to play against, because most of the teams I would be playing against them with, I am desperately trying to get away from base contact, and when it goes wrong, it goes spectacularly wrong against Chaos Dwarfs. Now at least there's a chance for it just going normally wrong.
Normally wrong, yeah. I mean, a block piece with armor 4 billion is still going to be quite a challenge, but it's a different challenge now as opposed to just like blue, like tap, blue, you don't get to do what you want to do. Right, so we got shadowing stabby boys, we've got standard hobgoblins, we've got Chaos Dwarf blockers that are now chunky. I like the theme to this, they did talk about it on the stream, is that the Chaos Dwarves are slowly turning into stone based on their magic. So it represents...
Yeah, I think that's actually quite lore accurate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's cool. It works nicely, and it is useful. I do like the way they are kind of sneaking these lesser known, lesser used skills into rosters now. Like we had defensive in the Amazon roster, we've got Ironhide skin here. I think it's just a good way to kind of socialize some of those skills. But we've got a brand new skill, as is the want for Blood Bowl. Flamesmiths provide a new avenue in offense. Breathe fire will leave players prone. It may even knock them down, though this being Blood Bowl, they're perfectly capable of knocking themselves over. So Jay on the stream described it as basically they swig some fire brew, which either goes really well or they end up setting themselves on fire, which is very Blood Bowl. So immediately you kind of think, okay, is this like vomit? Is this kind of like a vomity thing? Is it like a chainsaw thing? So breathe fire trait. It's a bit wordy, so we're going to break it down. Once per activation, instead of performing a block action or as part of a blitz action, this player may perform a breathe fire special action. So each of your fire boys can do it. One can block, one can blitz, they can both block. It's just like it replaces that. So same as stab in that regard. When a player makes a breathe fire special action, they may choose one standing opposition player that they are marking. So can't do it against somebody on the ground. So basically, if they could block them, they can breathe fire on them. And you roll a dice. If the target is strength 5 or bigger, you roll the dice and deduct 1 from it. But if you roll a natural 6, the target player is knocked down. So knocked down is prone and armor rolled. Okay, that's a proper knockdown. On a 4+, the target player is immediately placed prone instead. So on a strength 1, 2, 3, 4 player, regardless of skills, on a 4+, if they've got the ball, they are now on the ground. And on a straight 6, you're going to get to roll armor on them as well. On a 2 to 3, nothing special happens. And on a 1, the player knocks themselves down instead. And Ben, a player on the active team that gets knocked down, that's a turnover, isn't it? Placed prone isn't,
Yeah.
but knocked down is a turnover.
It is.
There's a bit of rules thing that when you read it, you got to kind of go around. If you roll a 1, but you add -1 to it, it becomes a 0. Then we get the whole wildly inaccurate, like, well, it's not a 1. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a result of 1 or less. The player gets knocked down themselves. So if you're going up against a tree man, it's going to be a 5. The tree man's prone. A 6, the tree man's knocked down. But a 1 or 2, you're knocked down.
Yeah.
Oh, so lads, thoughts on this one?
think it's niche. It's niche. I think you put it right, Ben, where it's like, it's often a 1-die block. It's like always really at worst a 1-die block, unless you're doing it on strength 5. But so I think it's useful to have it, but I don't think you're going to be using it often.
I don't think you
Dwarves often
should
have
be
a lot of
using it often.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dwarves have a lot of tools in doing that. But if you could somehow like, if you're in a pinch and this is what you need to really open up, like start to sort of knock a player down so you can start performing good blocks, it's pretty good. Like I think you've got like a, what is it, 75% chance of the reroll
Yeah.
to open up a play if you get caught up and surrounded by another bash team like orcs or something where they're spamming guard, and you're like suddenly on the back foot and you can't open up that channel, like knock down a black orc with guard on a 4+ with a reroll if you need it, and then suddenly you might start be able to like block the hell out of them. So I think it can open up avenues. I think it's nice to have, but a lot of cases with dwarves, the 1-die blocks tend to be pretty good.
We're assuming
Especially
that
if they've got
if they have block.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It doesn't say that they. I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure it's not changed, but it says the Chaos Dwarf blockers no longer start with the tackle skill. I assume that means they still start with the block
Yeah.
skill, but the Fire Breather, our Flamesmith, they're not Chaos Dwarf blockers. So if they've got block, then Breathe Fire is significantly worse. If they don't have block, then Breathe Fire is significantly not as worse. I guess.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one. I mean, it's a great option. It's like vomiting troll, right? It's just another piece of the toolkit. There are definitely going to be some times where actually just taking a block is going to be better. But I don't know. You could wander in with these guys into the middle of a cage, like you said, Ben, and 4+ with a reroll, regardless of guard and everything else. They're taking that ball carrier to the ground.
If you can wander them into a cage.
Yeah, but there'll be times where you can block off the edge of a cage and then you can potentially blitz in with a Flamesmith, where normally you'd only be able to blitz in with a Strength 4 Chaos Centaur and probably do it with 1 dice block anyway. So
yeah, but you're right. If they have if they're blodge sure hands or whatever, and you don't have other options than taking it, this is better than that. This is better than a 1-die against blodge. So.
Yeah, if
they don't have tackle as well. That's also assuming they don't have block and tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one.
Charging back and you're down on strength and it's the do or die roll. And you're like, well, actually, it might be better than a 2-die up where everyone's got block and something like that.
I very much like that there is a negative to this. I like that there's a turnover risk. I wouldn't have wanted this to be just a roll of dice and you're fine.
Oh yeah, that would be very good.
I think they've done a good job here of adding another choice. There'll be some times where you math it out and you're like, well, it's not really a choice and it's not necessary. But what it does is it means that you've got that extra opportunity, that extra, I don't know, 10% of the time it might just be better for you to do this. Well, that's a 10% boon, and if you only use it once or twice a game, but when you do, it just gives you much better odds. But there's a risk. It makes it a choice, and I'm massively pro games giving you kind of decision points. And also, there are going to be some people who are just like, yep, I am going to stab and breathe fire every turn because it's fun. And I love that too. Like proper murder boys. You've got the frenzy lads in your model case, Ben, and then you've got these guys who are just like fire and knives.
Yeah, and it is so thematic as well. It fits nicely, and of course, because it's a trait, it's something that you're only ever going to see against Chaos Dwarf. So it's that nice add-on that gives them something that truly is unique.
Yep. Yeah, that's absolutely bang on. Okay, let's just review, make sure we've covered what we need to cover. So the box, 14 players, 2 new positionals, a stabby one. I love the hobgoblins.
Was it 14 players?
Yeah, 14 players in the box.
Oh wait, I thought it was 6 hobgoblins.
No. 6 hobgoblins, 4 dwarf blockers, and then 2 stabbers and 2 flamesmiths.
Oh wow. Okay, sorry, my bad. I thought it was 4 hobgoblin lines and 2 stabbers. Okay, no, that is good then.
Yeah, I think this is a decent box. I do think this is a decent box.
Yeah.
Everything Tripp said earlier. Okay, you put the centaurs in there, you're going to end up with 12 models, and you're not going to be able to run the team because you won't be able to afford it. Or you've got this option where actually you can run the team, add some centaurs, get a second box if you want to run a full hobgoblin team, which I think definitely needs to be done. So we've got the alchemists, we've got the stabbers, bull centaurs, we've got the minotaur doing minotaur things, we've got the iron hard skin and tackle change, we've got breathe fire, we've got shadowing stab, we've got the spike magazine. Sounds awfully like a military jet flying over my house. It's exciting. Or very, very bad news. One of the two.
If the camera feed cuts out, you know.
Goodbye. Spike magazine, issue 18, villainous VIPs. We kind of touched on that. Chaos Dwarf teams take to the gridiron to prove they are the undisputed overlords of the sport. Okay, so that was everything in the article and everything from the interview. They did say they kind of did a little bit of a mini roadmap on a different section of the stream for Blood Bowl, and they said nothing useful. They just said, like, Chaos Dwarves, obviously we've had gnomes this year, Chaos Dwarves now, and then much more to look forward to in 2025. So,
okay,
yeah, exactly. It's exactly.
Nothing else this year other than any missing stars from Chaos Dwarfs, probably then.
Well, yeah. I guess the only other thing I wanted to show before we kind of do some speculation is they didn't show the full pitch, but you can see it's like all lava-y and stony underneath.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
it looks good.
They didn't show the full pitch, but I really liked what I saw of it, and I did the reveal in a really cool way as well. They do a good job with the little teaser trailers with the models and stuff. So that was pretty cool too. Okay, right. Spike magazine, gonna have all the stuff in it. The VIPs, star player wise, I think Ian Turner from the Blood Bowl community there says it makes a lot of sense, right?
Crack the code.
Yeah. Slash some kind of hobgoblin star player. Rashnak was the old one. Stomp, Thark probably, and Shoot. I mean, I don't know whether they'll rename the star players because they did that, I think, with like they had Boomer Esiason before, but he got renamed to Thorson Stoutmead essentially and rebranded. So we might see a bit of rebranding with the Chaos Dwarf stars basically, but you've got to bring Thark back surely. That would have been my guess. So my question to you would have been, what star players do you expect to see? I mean, a big guy bull centaur, a star player lineman, and a hobgoblin lineman star, I think is exactly what I would have expected coming out of this.
Yeah, you would think. Because I'm assuming they already get like all the chaos ones, right?
It depends how they run it. I don't know, like because of all
the favoured of, aren't
they?
I would assume they are.
Yeah, I would assume.
The team of legend has Badland Brawls and then favoured of pick one and World's Edge Super League as well. I can see them dropping one of those and just going down to 2 keywords. So I would imagine
Badland maybe dropping World's Edge.
Yeah, that feels weird. But I guess the Dark Elves get access, like all the elves get access to each other's stars.
Yeah, but I feel like Elvish alliances aren't quite as grudgeful as the dwarf ones.
It'd be interesting to see if some of the stars have the favoured of and whether there's a new favoured of word.
Hash hut
would feel right.
Hash hut.
Oh, is that on there?
Is the long-term worshippers of Hash Hut will notice that the Chaos Dwarf team plus.
I like they put that in.
Yeah, so don't know whether that's going to be a thing or not, but we've seen it with Nurgle, we've seen it with Khorne. They've gone for a very Khorne paint scheme, Ben.
Yeah, they have actually.
Very brass.
I mean, Chaos Dwarves are already kind of more Khorne than anything. Like, if you're disregarding Hashut, which is blasphemy, as someone I love my Chaos Dwarves, and well, I like the Age of Sigmar flavor when they did those, but yeah, like I love me my Hashut, but these do fit quite nicely into Khorne, so I'm quite a big fan. Yeah, it's that brass and red, isn't it?
Yeah, it's classic. Okay, so the new box we like. Bull Centaurs being separate, I don't think was ever going to be any other way without, like Strip said, forcing you to buy a second box to pad out enough players for your team. New positionals, love it. The Sneaky Stabber. I mean, the Chaos Dwarf team didn't really need more positionals, but it's definitely more interesting now. And that seems to be what they're trying to do with these team strips.
Yeah, every team of legends had like a new positional or new themed player to it, and yeah, this one's a good one because it feels not like a must-have positional, but probably a quite an interesting one to have.
Yeah, you're probably right there. It depends on what skills the Flame Boys have as standard. If they keep block, then I think they're going to be auto includes. If they lose block, then it's going to be an interesting chance thing, like a trade off. And the stabbers really, I think, depends Ben on how much they are, because hobgoblins are cheap at 40k.
Yeah.
A 50k stabber, right? You're definitely going to fit one of those into your roster. 60k might be more challenging because you're giving up half a hobgoblin for that. It's an interesting one, right?
It's also interesting. Sorry, something I want to touch on is when they changed guard, so it no longer assists on fouls. I think that hurts Chaos Dwarves quite a lot. So it might be interesting to
yes,
because like Chaos Dwarves are really really like fouling because the hobgoblins are so cheap.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a bit interesting too.
We're assuming they're going to keep skill access and strength on a general. For the blockers, I mean, probably will. I don't know.
They're dwarves, right? They've got to.
You would assume so. Okay, it's time for my favourite game, Trips Calendar Roulette. Where are we looking? Where are we looking? What's the date today? Is the 29th. Will they be up for release on Sunday the 1st? Will they be on the preview?
No.
No. No. Most certainly flipping not. What's your thoughts then on release schedule for these guys? I know that this is a bit of a moment, but
so I reckon that we'll probably have something new next week further about them, because it's a new month and that gets a Blood Bowl article into the month as well. And then I reckon they'll go into the preview. I'm going to go with Sunday the 8th. So that puts them up for pre-order.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm a week ahead of myself. So I reckon they'll go up for pre-order on the 15th, and then preview on the 15th, and then pre-order Saturday will be the 21st, which means they'll be in people's grubby's hands on October the 5th.
Right in time for my holiday week of the 7th.
Perfect.
Yeah, that fits nicely. Yeah, it's our wedding anniversary and Tiff's birthday that week. I don't know if we're going away. I don't know if I can swing a live stream during our annual leave for our anniversary and our birthday. But if it drops that week, then if the last two releases are anything to go by, we'll have the stats and everything already by then. Like with Gnomes, they dropped everything so that we could playtest them on stream.
And I think the 2-week preview window, pre-order window, helps with them dropping articles in that as well, because actually you want to keep the interest about people buying them and detailing. So yes, the more we can get, the more likelihood we can get them on the pitch.
That would make them eligible for Bonehead Bowl.
Yeah, that would give them 2 whole weeks to be eligible for Bonehead Bowl.
It would, wouldn't it?
And as it's a mixed team tournament, you don't have to paint an entire new team. You can just take
your full centaurs already from your old
just
team.
add your stabbers, add your flamesmiths to any other team. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay, cool. But yeah, I think you're right, Trips. I think we're going to see some more articles. I hope we're going to see some more articles soonish. They did show off some major Sigmar bits, and I do wonder if their cadence of releases, I don't know. I think we could see a bit of a delay on this. I think your timeline's reasonable, which is why I think it's optimistic.
Because I think there's definitely the new kill team to come out, which you feel that's coming soon. So they're playing it on stream this weekend, so that feels like that's going to be maybe in this weekend's preview. And then that would give it a bit of a couple of weeks after that, the next thing, and then you're almost into army boxes for Christmas.
Damn, you're right, yeah. And at least I guess we can glean from the stream that that's going to be the last release for 2025, probably, because they were like on the roadmap, and then plenty for a last release for 2024, and then everything into 2025, which would be interesting. All right, wicked. Okay, guys, any more thoughts on the first view of the new Chaos Dwarf team?
Not yet. Just looking forward to seeing the roster. It'll be good fun.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing the stars. That's going to be interesting for me.
Yeah, I want like, because what was that actually before? I know we're wrapping up, but the guy with the gun,
yes,
was he like the regular dwarf one where he's like more like a thrower, right?
Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna have to Google the CRP PDF here.
I want to make that guy a combat guy.
Was that Zazarth, the Mad Eye?
Yeah, it's Mad Eye.
Yes,
Yeah, so
Zarg.
he had Hail Mary pass, Loner,
Yeah.
pass, secret weapon, strong arms, sure hands, tackle, thick skull, block, blunderbuss. And he was also eligible for Chaos Renegades.
It was Blunderbuss.
So in the CRP, Loner, Hail Mary pass, secret weapon, strong arm, sure hands, tackle, thick skull. Yeah, it kind of like a who's that? Oh, he was strength 4 in the CRP. That's hefty.
Strength 4 in the CRP, and in 3rd edition he was strength 3, but he had an additional movement, so 90k or 100k. So
I just remember that was what it was him and the regular dwarf one, which I was
Barrack
always
Farblast.
I was disappointed when I joined the game seeing these dwarf guys with just guns in Blood Bowl and thinking it was the coolest thing, and then they were just like, oh yeah, we use them to launch the ball, and I'm just like, oh. I want to shoot a troll in the face.
Rashnak, Backstabber, Loner, Dodge, Sidestep, Sneaky, Get Stab. He was movement 7. That's probably about right. And Hathark, Loner, Block, Break, Tackle, Juggernaut, Sprint, Sure Feet, Thick Skull, Strength 5, Movement 6, Edge 2, 9+. I've gone too far back in time, but I think it's not a terrible thing. Block, Break, Tackle, Jug, Sprint. So yeah, I mean, Rashnak and Hathark are just better versions of the vanilla one, and Zarg Mad Eye was basically like they're just like Barrack Farblast kind of style, yeah. which I don't think they're going to be meta defining, which is nice.
Yeah.
I have already started like thinking, oh, what if you can get Skitter on this team? Would that be pretty cool? Because I know that Chaos Dwarves Hackflem Morg is the ultimate combo. That's gone away now with Megastar attacks, but Skitter is just your kind of cheap option.
Even on Team of Legend Chaos Dwarf, Skitter's pretty great. So
unless he gets Megastarred in November, that would be the ultimate cruelty. You can play with him for like 2 weeks.
I don't think he will get Megastarred. I think Skitter is too stealthy. I think it's too important to have a gutter runner just doing everything. That's what the people want. Everybody's got to have someone you hate. Like the NFL's lost now without Brady. Like Brady was just too good, and now everyone's kind of like, oh, everyone's bad now.
Well, that used to be. Chiefs used to be one of those teams that everybody didn't like, but yeah,
I disagree. I always thought Chaos Dwarfs were dwarves, but a little bit more likable. It's like you want to play a dwarf team, and you don't want everyone to massively hate you. Chaos Dwarfs are a bit better.
There was that. They were the less disliked of the team.
I think that's a Brexit margin between which of these teams is the most hated. Dwarves were least fun, but less powerful. Chaos Dwarves were more powerful, but a little bit more fun to play against.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But I remember running them in League and it feeling just not very fun because it was just like, oh, you can't lose.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you're not going to have to save up for buying any more players, at least Chaos Dwarves with Armor 10, Thick Skull, Infinite stuff, which I think is really, really, really quite cool. But that is going to do it for today's episode. Please let us know what you think of Chaos Dwarves, because this is my favourite point when we go to Blood Bowl. It's like the new team, the speculation, the planning, and then we get to play a bunch of games, getting them onto the pitch and seeing what's happening. I love this bit. So Trips, BT, thank you very much for joining us and talking Blood Bowl. And guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy flamesmithing. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.